Pivot tables. Pivot tables are very powerful tools used to summarize data more effectively. They are flexible and allow you to create reports using many different fields. So in this video, I'm going to take you through how to first export data from CurrencyXchanger and then create a pivot table in Excel based on that data you've exported. If you have version 4.5 of CurrencyXchanger, you will have an integrated pivot table tool, so there will be no need to export to Excel first. But for this example, I'm going to show you how to export that data. So first of all, we need to go to our journal module, so just clicking on the journal icon. And then once in here, we go up to the toolbar, click on all. Now these are all of our transactions that we've done in our journal, so we're going to actually export all of this data. Now I only have 129, so I'm just going to export all of these. We're going to run this as an audit query, so down on the bottom there's an audit query button. We're just going to select right here. And let's say you have a lot more transactions than 129 and you want to filter those a little bit more. We can run a query using the search criteria on this page, and you can make that a lot smaller amount of data to export into Excel. But for this example, I'm just going to stick with the ones that we currently have. So then what we need to do is go across to the tab that says Unformatted, select right here, and you'll see a button to the right, HTML Export. You just need to click on this button, and we need to save this file. So save it somewhere that you're going to be able to find it. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. We'll just call this pivot table video, and then just make sure it's .html, and then click on the save. So now I've saved this to my desktop. We want to now import this into Excel. So simply dragging the file into our Excel. We have now imported this data from CurrencyXchanger into Excel, as you can see. So from here is where we're going to now build our pivot table. So clicking anywhere in Excel and then going up to your toolbar and finding data. Once we click on the data tab, you'll see we have a pivot table button as well. Clicking on the arrow to the right of pivot table, we're going to go down to the create manual pivot table. Once here, we're just going to click on OK with all of this criteria. And you'll see that we've now got our blank pivot table with our pivot table builder. So we have our row area, values, column, and then also report filter area. And then with our pivot table builder, we have our field names, which is where we get to select what field names we put into this table and whereabouts we put it in the table to see all this data. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to select a field that we'll put into our row labels. So let's say in this example, we use our main account. You just need to simply click and drag into where we want to put this. So let's put this in our row labels. And you'll see in the pivot table now we've got our banks, cash, etc., which is our main accounts. And let's select another one and see what happens. So let's select the account, drag and drop into the row labels, and you'll see that now we have our main account as a header, and then we have our accounts that are within those main accounts underneath. So let's start to fill in something into our values area as well. So again, we can really play around with this and customize and manipulate these however you want to make the best use for you. So let's put in, let's say, all of our bought transactions. And let's put in the sold as well. And you'll see in our pivot table we've got all of those amounts, those transactions come through. And the column header, some have bought, some have sold, you may want to change that. So what I'll do is I'll show you now how we can actually format these cells. So down back into the pivot table builder, if you go into the values and click on the I on the right hand side, you'll see that we can now manipulate that field name. So I'm just going to put total bought instead. And then if we want to format the actual value cells, we can click on the number button and we can select what we want to format that into. Just be careful not to select currency in this instant because we haven't necessarily bought in our home currency, so we don't want to confuse with the data. So let's go and select number. and we can just put in a separator, and let's just take out the decimal places. Clicking on OK and then OK again, you'll see that we have now formatted this column. So we've got the change in the name of the header, and we've also got the formatting of the cells underneath. So let's show you what else we can really do with this pivot table. We can really change and take out data, put in different data, and really make it work for you and personalize it. So let's take out our account. So if you want to take something out, we can just simply click on it and drag it into Excel, and you'll see that it's actually now removed that from there. We can add new ones in. So let's say we want to put in our customer name as well. So we just drag and drop our customer name in. So now we have our main accounts, and then we have all of the transactions by our customers as well underneath those main accounts. We can also change in the way that we lay this out as well. So if we don't want to have those down in the row labels, we actually want to have the customers in our column labels, we can drag that up, and you can now see that we've got all of the customers along in our column labels, and then we have our main accounts and our row labels. So you can really play around and see the difference and the changes that you can make with these tables. So now that we've got this, we can also show you how to do the report filters. So let's put in a report filter of the date. So again, you just need to drag down the field name that you want to use and then just drop it into report filter. Going back up to the pivot table, you'll see at the top value date has now been populated up at the top, and you have a drop down button or a filter button. Select here, and then let's uncheck select all, and you'll see all of the data did disappear. So now we can check off the dates that we actually want to show, and it won't show the other dates. It will just filter the information to the dates that you want. So you can see now that we've got just those dates with those customers across the top and then in our main accounts. So you can really change what filters you put in. So we can also bring back all of the dates again by simply selecting all. We can change that value date, we can take that out. We can say, for example, maybe you are a multi-branch office and you want to be able to sort this by branch and see what kind of transactions you've done by branch. So we can drag that into the filter field. And then again at the top, back on your pivot table, you'll see it now says branch. And in your drop down, I don't actually have any other branches to select from, but if you did in fact have multi-branch, you would be able to select the branches that you want to show. And then it would just show the information from those particular ones, and you can compare the data and analyze and so on and so forth. So you can really work the pivot tables to your advantage. They can be very advanced, but you can also see in this video that they can also be very straightforward and very easy to use. There are many tools and many videos showing you how pivot tables work on the internet that are great to look at and learn how to really make best advantage of these pivot tables for you. But in this video I've taken you through how to just simply export your data from CurrencyXchanger into an HTML format and then import that into Excel and then create your own pivot table based on that data.